In this video, I will show you how to install the BKMOTO Bixenon HID projectors into the Ninja 300. First thing you want to do is remove the headlight assembly from your motorcycle. To remove the headlight, you have to remove the side plastics, then the upper fairing, and then unbolt the headlight from the upper fairing. Once you have the headlight removed, next thing you want to do is remove the lens from the headlight casing. The lens is basically glued together. The lens is basically glued together. In the middle there's a seam, and inside of it there's glue. Now normally on every other motorcycle except the Ninja 300 and Ninja 250, it's very easy to open up the headlight because the glue that the manufacturers use is rubber butyl, and all you have to do is heat up the glue, get the glue hot enough, and then you'll be able to separate the lens very easily. But on the Ninja 300, Kawasaki decided to use silicone-based glue or permanent glue, and that glue is not affected by heat, so there's no point to heat up this headlight. You basically have to force it open by scraping off the glue inside the seam and cutting the glue. This is a pretty tedious process. It's probably going to take you about an hour, maybe 2 hours to open this headlight. I would say this is the hardest part of the installation. Once you get the headlight open, it's much easier from that point on. To open up the headlight, you would need a flathead screwdriver, probably maybe 2 or 3 flathead screwdrivers. You can also use a knife to help you cut the glue inside the seam. You can use one of these to help hold the parts that you already opened up. So essentially what you need to do is take the screwdriver, stick it into the seam, and then work your way like this, wiggle the screwdriver in the seam and move it, little by little all around the headlight. And basically what you're doing is you're cutting the glue inside of the seam with your screwdriver. Then you can continue cutting with your knife inside the seam. And then once you have a little part open, you can stick a screwdriver in there and hold it open like this. And then continue working with the second screwdriver, cutting the glue. Like I said, it's a tedious process, but you'll get it done. We've opened plenty of these, and it's not impossible. It does take some patience, but you will get it open eventually. I already pre-opened this headlight because I didn't want to make a 2-hour video of how I'm struggling with the headlight. So this headlight is already open. Once you get the headlight open, you will remove the lens from the headlight. And the first thing you want to do is scrape off the glue. The original glue, you want to scrape it off. You can cut it off with the knife and just clean off the old glue because this glue is not reusable. And we'll be applying new glue to the headlight once we're ready to seal the headlight. So we have the lens removed. Next thing we want to do is remove the 2 reflectors so we can trim them. And we need to trim them so the projectors fit properly. To remove the reflectors, all you have to do is turn the 3 rear adjustment screws on the back of the headlight, turn them counterclockwise, and the projector will come out. You'll see as you turn them, the projector is moving forward. Now don't turn one screw all the way out and then go to the next. You kind of want to turn each screw 3-4 turns and then go to the next one and then go to the next one and work your way around so the reflector comes out evenly. So to remove the reflectors, I'll use an electric screwdriver. As you can see, I'm working my way around. Two upper ones are done. The lower one is left. And the reflector is out. Very simple. Now simply take out the second reflector using the same 3 rear adjustment screws. And the second reflector is out. So we removed both of the reflectors, and now we are ready to trim the reflectors, then paint them, spray paint them matte black if you wish to black out the reflectors. If not, you can simply trim them and you'll be ready to install the projectors. Also, one more thing you want to do is remove the rear bulb holders at this point. So simply unscrew these 2 screws right here for the bulb hardware on both reflectors. You're not gonna need those pieces anymore. That's it. Now we're ready to trim them and paint them. For the projectors to properly fit the Ninja 300 reflectors, we will need to make a simple cut to the reflectors. All you need to do is cut out a simple rectangle, as I marked here, going basically from here and to the edge over here. So like this, here, here, and going down here. And you would also cut off this post. like this. This post right here. So this is the rectangle you need to cut out. This way you can insert the projectors without them touching the reflectors. Otherwise the fit is very tight. So first mark what you need to cut, then using a Dremel and a cutting bit, cut this out. I recommend wearing goggles for safety, and I usually wear a dust mask also. Okay, let's get started. Very simple, and here's the end result. And now when you insert the projectors, they won't interfere with the reflectors on the bottom. And now do the second reflector. And you are done. This is all the trimming that you need to do. Now you also need to drill a hole right here, for the wires to come out, from the extra wires from the projector to come out. So do this right in the middle, under the base, the bulb of the base, on the bottom. This is the bottom of the reflector where the cut is. So on the bottom, right in the middle, I'll show you. I'll mark it right here. Make a hole on each reflector, and this is for the extra wires that are coming out of the projector. So you can use the same Dremel and simply make a hole. just like this. Now do the same thing on the second reflector. Mark the spot. Right here in the center, right under the base hole, the bulb base, and make a hole. And that's it. You are done with trimming. This is the only trimming you would need to do. It's very easy. Takes, as you can see, it takes 5 minutes. So basically, to summarize, we cut this section out on the bottom of the reflector. This is to mount the projector properly, and then we drilled a hole right here, and you can see it right here. And this is when you insert the projector, all the extra wires are going to go through that hole and out the back with the headlight. Now wash off these reflectors, let them dry, and in the next step I will show you how to black them out with black spray paint. This is purely cosmetic. You don't have to black out your reflectors, but the headlight does look much better with the reflectors blacked out, since you won't be needing the reflectors for lighting anymore. The projectors will provide the light. Now we are ready to paint the reflectors. This will black out the reflectors for a nicer, for a better headlight look. The paint they recommend is Rust-Oleum High Heat. There's a picture of a radiator grill. This is the paint that we use most of the time. It's very easy to apply, it sticks well, and it can sustain high temperatures. You can get this in Home Depot, Lowe's, and I believe Walmart also carries this paint. So just look for this exact spray paint. This is just a handle that I added to the spray paint can. It doesn't come with it. This is just so it's easier to spray. You can get this handle also in Home Depot or Lowe's. All you have to do is paint the reflector with a few coats, 2-3 coats is enough. There's no need to sand down the reflector. This paint would stick just fine onto the reflective surface. Just make sure it's warm enough outside or wherever you're painting. I find that this paint sticks better in temperatures over about 60-70 degrees. So it should be a warm day when you're painting it, or paint somewhere where it's not cold. So just shake the can. Hold the can about 6 to 10 inches away and spray. Spray right on the reflector. Put down a thin coat in the beginning. Put down a thin coat and let it dry for a couple of minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes or so. You can actually start doing the second reflector while the first one is drying a little bit. Try not to breathe this stuff. It's not good for you. So usually I recommend spraying outside. This one's not shiny anymore, so it dried a little bit. Once it becomes a matte finish, it means it's kind of it dried a little bit, so you can put a second coat. And I usually put a thick second coat. Check to make sure you covered everything evenly. This reflector is ready. Now when this paint dries, it won't be this shiny. It's going to be a nice matte finish. And do the second reflector. And you're done. Reflectors are painted. Check to make sure you got all the spots and there's no more silver showing. It's very important to let the paint dry properly, because it releases fumes that will fog up the lenses, the clear lenses in the headlights. Let this paint dry for at least 48 hours in a warm and dry location. I recommend about 2-3 days for proper drying. After a couple hours you can touch it, but it won't be fully dry. So before you seal the headlights, make sure you let the paint properly dry. And that's it. Once it dries, you're ready to mount the BKMOTO projectors. The reflectors are blacked out. We trimmed the bottoms, cut the hole for the wires, and now we can mount the reflectors back into the headlight casing. All you have to do is put the reflector back onto the 3 mounting points and tighten the back screws. Just be careful and keep watching how far back the reflector is going. Once it reaches the end, make sure you stop tightening, because you don't want to strip these plastic inserts, the threaded plastic inserts that go on the adjustment screws. Okay, let's tighten them. One reflector is done. Let's do the next one. These screws are very stiff, so you might want to use a ratchet or a socket. Okay, reflectors are mounted, and we basically back these two screws, the two upper screws, all the way in. This one about 2/3, about halfway in, the two outer, and this one about most of the way in, I would say about 3/5, about 4/5. These 4/5 in, so we left 1/5. And next we'll be mounting the projectors. We are now ready to install the projectors into the headlight. First thing you want to do is remove the HID bulb. There is a small screw that holds it in place. Just undo the screw and remove the bulb. Next thing, remove the rear nut. The rear lock washer and the H7 adapter plate. Those are the three pieces you will need to mount the projector. You will also have a bigger metal plate, which is an H4 plate. You would not need this. And you would not need the big silicone washer. All you need is the H7 adapter plate, the rear nut, and the lock washer. Take the projector and insert it into the light bulb hole, and insert the wires from the projector into the hole you just made underneath it. When you're inserting the projector, you want to position it so the gap in the halo ring, you can see this gap right here where the wires are connecting to the ring. This needs to be at 6 o'clock. It needs to be on the bottom of the projector when you're inserting it. That's the correct orientation. So pull the wires through the bottom hole and out the back of the headlight. And insert the projector. Just like this. And with the wires coming out coming out the back. Next thing you want to do is take the H7 adapter plate and insert it into the light bulb opening on the back with the notch facing up, and that's going to lock the projector into place. Next thing, put the lock washer and then take thread lock, medium or high strength thread lock, and apply thread lock to the rear thread. This is so the rear nut doesn't get loose from the bike vibrations. And secure the rear nut. Hold the projector in the front so you won't twist on you while you're securing it. Then take needle nose pliers and tighten the rear nut while holding the projector in the front so it won't twist. And now we have the projector mounted. With the halo and gaps connectors facing down. Take the second projector and also remove the light bulb. And the back nut. H7 plate, and then the H4 plate you don't need, the silicone washer you don't need, and mount the second projector the same way you mounted the first one, with the halo gap facing down. Insert the wires into the hole you just made. And pull them out the back of the headlight. insert the projector. Pull the wires all the way out. Take the H7 adapter plate and place it onto the projector. Then put on the rear nut. Put thread lock. And secure the back nut while holding the projector in the front. And tighten the back nut wheel with needle nose pliers. And the projectors are mounted. Now the rear H7 adapter plates, they're on the back. They lock the projector into place. That way it's pretty much aimed correctly. I would say it's 95% accurate. Those who want a completely perfect horizontal cutoff line, I recommend turning on the projectors once you have them mounted already and shining them at a wall behind us. And if the cutoff line is not completely horizontal, going basically across, but it's a little bit slanted, you can physically take the projector and turn it slightly, maybe a degree or two with your hand, until you are satisfied with how straight the cutoff line is. Don't worry about if one projector is shining higher than the other. You will be able to adjust the height of the projector, how high or low they shine, with these two rear adjustment screws and these two for the left headlight adjustment screws. So use these screws to adjust how high or low the projectors shine. I recommend doing this once you mount the headlight on the bike. And basically the way you aim it, the light needs to shine forward with a slight angle down. It shouldn't be shining with an angle up, because then it will be shining in people's eyes. And to power up the projectors manually without connecting to the bike, you will take the relay. You can take the relay harness that came with your projectors. And the way you power up the projectors manually is connect these two wires to your battery, red to the plus, black to the minus. So place your bike battery on the desk, connect this to your battery. Then at the other end, you will plug this plug into your HID ballast, and then your ballast will plug into the light bulbs, and you insert the light bulb in the back of the projector. to light it up. So this big plug connects to the ballast, then the ballast to the light bulbs, and then you put the light bulbs in the projector. And then to power up the projector, you have a blue and a white wire. So what you will do is you take the white wire and you hold it to the plus on the battery, and when you're holding this, the light will come on. So connect the white to the plus on the battery while everything else is connected. The projector will come on. You look at a wall across behind you, and if the light is not completely horizontal, you simply take the projector and turn it by hand slightly until the light is completely horizontal to your satisfaction, and tighten the back nut a little more, and you'll be done with aiming. And you should aim both headlights if you're aiming them manually. Otherwise, the H7 metal plates in the back lock in the projector pretty much exactly how it needs to be, about 95% accurate. So you can leave it the way it is, or you can manually adjust them if you want them to be perfect. And that's it. Now you're ready to seal the headlight. Projectors are mounted, and now we are ready to seal the headlight. To reseal the headlight, we will apply new glue. The glue that you need to purchase is called butyl windshield sealant. You don't have to look for this exact box, but any auto parts store would sell this. Basically what you need is a windshield sealant ribbon, and inside it looks like this. It's just a spool of butyl glue, and it's basically a ribbon. And in your auto parts store, it would be called windshield ribbon, or windshield sealant, or butyl windshield, any of those words. But it's basically a windshield sealing kit, and the box would be pretty much this shape in your auto parts store. So basically what you need to do is, you already scraped off all the old glue from the inside of the seam, and you'll be basically applying this ribbon. So simply take the ribbon and start stretching it inside of the seam. The ribbon is probably going to be too thick for the seam, but you can simply stretch it as you're applying it. And all you need to do is just fill in the channel, the seam, with this glue, and stuff it in there. Some more. And continue applying it. So keep just stretching it a little bit so it fills in the gap. That's it. We've installed the new glue sealant. And now there are two ways to seal these headlights. Here you can see how the sealant is installed. We just shoved it into the seam. Now you need to heat up this glue in order to seal the headlights properly. There are two methods you can heat up the glue. The first method is using a heat gun. This is an inexpensive heat gun. You can buy it in any hardware store. Costs about $20–30. And all you do is basically turn on the heat gun on high setting, hold it about 6 inches away from the glue, and move slowly while heating up the glue in the seam. And then once the glue is hot, press in the lenses and clamp them with clamps, or hold them tight until the glue cools down. If you don't have a heat gun and you don't want to buy one, you can warm up the entire headlight assembly in your oven. To do this, you will take the lens and then lightly insert, close it lightly. Don't press it all the way in. Just close it lightly into the glue. Then take the whole headlight assembly and heat it up in your oven. What you need to do is heat up the oven to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Preheat the oven for a few minutes so it's already hot when you're putting the headlight in, and keep the temperature at 225. Place the headlight on top of a towel and into the center of your headlight. Make sure none of the plastic parts is touching any metal in the oven, and keep the headlight in the oven at 225 degrees for 6 minutes. And this will get the headlight hot enough so then you can press in the lenses into the glue and seal the lights. I'm using a heat gun, so I will show you how to do it with a heat gun. So turn on the heat gun on high setting. Hold it about 6 inches away and work your way slowly around the headlight while heating up the glue. Now the glue is hot enough, so all we do is take the lenses. In this case we have LED strips here, so we'll run the wires out the back of the headlight also from the LED strips. Right, basically tuck them away behind the corners of the reflectors. One wire. Second wire. And now simply press the lenses into the groove. Keep pressing the headlight in, make sure all the grooves close. I like using clamps, it makes life much easier and does your work for you basically. And you can keep moving the clamps around to make sure everything's clamped tight. This also helps to tighten everything down. Now the headlight is sealed. Everything's closed tight. Let this cool down for a few minutes and your headlight will be sealed. This is the wiring for our BKMOTO Ninja 300 by Xenon projector kit. Here we have all the basic wiring that you will need to do to make your kit function. These are the stock Ninja 300 pigtails that came off from your original dust covers. Basically, they were installed in the dust cover. We cut off the H7 plug and pulled them out. Once you remove these plugs, you're not going to need these covers anymore, and new replacement covers come with your kit. We will use these to get the signals for the high beam and low beam and ground from your motorcycle. The white plug is your low beam plug. This is the low beam positive, this is the low beam negative. Note how the plug is facing, so you will know which wire is which. Low beam positive, low beam negative. This is the high beam plug. High beam positive, high beam negative. These are the relays that run to your battery. The white wires control the low beams on the headlights. The blue wires control the high beams. We will be connecting them to these two plugs. This is the on-off switch that will be controlling the low beam, so we can shut off the low beams and just have the halos running and the corner lights without the headlights being on. We will wire the switch in between the low beam signal from your bike and the low beam wires on the relay harnesses. These are the inverters. They control your CCFL halos. Reds are positive, blacks are negative. The white wires go to the halos. Let's start. Strip the wires. Chop off these bullet connectors, you're not going to need them. Also strip the wires. First thing you want to do is join the low beams so both your headlights come on at the same time. So basically just twist both of the white wires together and also twist the blue wires together. Once we're done with this, we are going to connect the two red wires from the inverters together so both halos come on, and we will connect the two red wires to the low beam positive wire on the white plug. I am using heat shrink butt connectors here, crimp connectors. So insert the wires. Crimp. Check. Connection is good. The other end goes to the black wire on the switch. This will control the low beam HIDs on and off, so we can shut off the headlights and just have the halos. So we're crimping the low beam positive together with the inverter positives into the black on-off switch wire. Good. Now we have the ground from the low beam plug, low beam negative. To that we are connecting both the black wires from the inverters, which are the grounds from the inverters, That's done. That's done. Now we have the red wire from the on-off switch. That's going to go into the white wires on the relays. This will turn on the low beams. Both headlights will come on for low beams. That's done. Now this is the high beam pigtail. This is the high beam positive. This is the high beam negative. we won't be using the high beam negative for anything. This is basically a general ground connection. We only need ground for now for the inverters, which we're getting from the low beam ground. So in this scenario, the high beam ground is not used for anything. So keep it the way it is, you know. Just don't use it. And we will be using the high beam positive to power the two blue wires on the relays, which will trigger the high beams. Okay. We are basically done with the wiring. Just 4 connection points, real easy. Shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes to do all the base. This is the most common way to set up this kit. If you have halos, you're using single output inverters. If you have halos and demonize, you will get dual output inverters, one for the halo, one for the demoni. But the powering in them is the same thing. They go into the same place. It just powers 2 rings instead of 1. The switch will control your low beams on and off, so you can turn off the headlights. Both headlights will come on and turn off. This controls the high beam, so the high beam goes to the blue wires and triggers the relays to turn on the high beams. Low beam powers the halos, demonize. If you have Audi LED strips, this is the same place you would connect both of the positive wires from the Audi strips, and this is the place where you would connect the negative wires from the Audi LED strips. The same way, just add 2 wires here and add 2 wires here from the strips. Pretty basic. And just place this on the bike, hide the inverters, run the relay wires to your battery. These go to your battery. Red is positive, black is negative. There's already a fuse box on it, so it's a fused relay. Connect the ballast over here and connect this to the projector, which controls the high beam and low beam on the projector. And that's it. You are done with the wiring. Just hide everything, zip tie everything nice and neat, and you're good to go.